Hi there, my name is Aaron Fyke. I'm one of the co-founders here at Edison Heliostats. We are developing a stored solar energy solution capable of providing dispatchable solar energy day and night to power the grid. We're doing this with an extremely low-cost thermal energy storage solution, approximately 50 times cheaper than conventional batteries. And the reason we're doing this is one of the biggest barriers for massive adoption of renewable energy is the intermittency and managing that volatility on the grid. With an integrated storage approach, we can help break that barrier and lead to much greater adoption of renewable energy resources. I'd most like to change the world through my innovations by bringing low carbon, low cost energy to everyone on the planet. Energy is the foundation for economic development and lifting people out of poverty. Low cost energy is the solution that enables for job growth and enables country development. However, our history with high carbon fuels and high carbon energy resources have led to the problems that we see in climate change. By addressing those problems, particularly through the use of more dispatchable resources, which can be used globally, we can impact the economic situation for the world's citizens, as well as solve the issues that we're facing in climate change. Many leaders and innovators share certain qualities. I think two of the most important are the ability to work with others and to tease out the flashes of inspiration which come by mixing of ideas that come from a variety of resources. Very rarely does an innovation come in isolation through a solitary genius. Almost exclusively, good ideas and breakthroughs come by mixing together the contributions of many people. And good leaders and innovators recognize this and foster those relationships. The second quality is tenacity and determination. Very often, to bring new innovations and change to a resistant and skeptical world, even a world which would benefit greatly from these changes, requires the sheer force of will alone to be able to move a technology forward and move an organization towards embracing that technology. In order to succeed, innovators need both of these skills. One of the things that sets my work apart, the work that we're doing here at Edison Heliostats, apart from others in the field, is that we are strongly embracing extremely low-cost technologies. Now, many companies talk about reducing costs, and they do, but they tend to be focused on very high-performance solutions with an expectation that costs can be reduced later, but the key metric, the key reward comes from increasing performance. While we are concerned about performance, we feel that in this industry and in energy, it is very important to address costs up front. And therefore, we have embraced materials and processes which are extremely low cost from the beginning. A thermal energy storage system using typical gravel and steel. A mirror array system using not very high precision optics, but a system that can tolerate much less precision and much less cost. This is an approach that we think will ultimately bring value, and that is the approach we've taken. I have had a lot of challenges achieving my goals. However, if you think of this as a journey, then when you look back, a lot of those challenges seem to be mere stumbling blocks along the way. It's always difficult to raise funding. It's always difficult to achieve the efficiency targets. It's always difficult to find that first customer adoption. These are shared by all entrepreneurs and by all innovators. However, for me, this is why it's very important to bring a team of people who are inspired by the same vision and the same goal. Because through working through a team, that's where you can find the inspiration to keep going. That's where you can find the motivation and the optimism necessary to overcome those challenges, knowing that you will somehow find a way to meet the technical targets, that you will be able to find those customers who need your innovation. And so that's what I've done, and I'm really proud of the team that has joined me along the way. I've been working in the field of renewable energy and clean, efficient energy technologies for over 22 years now, since the early to mid 90s, which a lot of people find surprising. A lot of people, there's been a lot of excitement in this industry in the last 10 or 15 years, and yet it goes back much further to people who've done extraordinary work in the 80s and 70s and earlier, people who've done work on fuel cells, people who've done work on Stirling engines, and solar technology. A lot of those pioneers set the path that we still find ourselves on. One of my mentors very early was at the University of Victoria in Canada, Dr. David Scott at the Institute for Integrated Energy Systems. He was pivotal in getting me interested in fuel cells and energy efficiency technology. However, the work that I've done continued through MIT and continued through my colleagues at other companies that I've joined or founded along the way, and their inspiration has kept me focused on this path. And when I talk about the importance of fostering relationships, I think encouraging serendipity is a great way of putting this. As I mentioned earlier, this is a very small community, and serendipity has been a big part of opportunities I've had throughout my career. A recent example, I spent 6 months earlier this year in Colombia because I think there are huge opportunities in Latin America for clean energy development. And so I was meeting with a number of investment funds and a number of renewable energy entrepreneurs. And I came across the CEO of a company based in Mexico who was good friends of someone I knew in Boston at MIT. This industry is incredibly small. Someone else that I knew from Chile turned out to be pivotal in some of the technology development that we were doing a couple years later with mining applications. And so I find that it's very important to maintain relationships with people who are also interested in being doers, people who are interested in making a change with this industry, because you'll never know when you go down the line how those people will come back into your life and how they'll impact your career years later. And along the lines with serendipity, there are a number of things that people can do to help us that are pretty much typical with every startup company. We're always looking to raise money, we're looking to expand our customer base, but most of the time when dealing with people or organizations, it's not clear how a relationship that's fostered today will ultimately pay off in the future. But undoubtedly, with good connections of people who are motivated and working along the same lines, that's ultimately what will happen. And it's always exciting to see how that will come to pass. A lot of this I find really motivating with what I do and the people that I work with.